Hey everyone, welcome back. It is now week 8 on the TOS Enterprise, and did get some work started on the mortar and machine gun team. But for the most part this week I thought it was going to be quick, simple, put on masks, let's go, let's have fun. And I started masking on the saucer, and when I got on the bottom, things just weren't lining up like they should have, and that was actually my fault because, as I've said, I get the masks from called T.B.I man, who gets them from Lou, who runs Aztec Dummy Productions, and I love his stuff, I really do. But as many times as I read the instructions, I did not catch, because I saw it. I did not catch that he loved the grid line that was done for that version, because they did the smooth, and then they did a grid line saucer, and that's what he designed his masks on. And because of that, I got everything too close, and yeah, blah blah. So I've been pulling masks off and starting to go then again, because I did get something from Paragraphics. It was a compass to help do the linear and the radial lines, and now I'm having to do that because I just did not like the way it looked. And so there we go, because I get a little fixated on trying to get something the way I want to see it. So yeah, so that's what happened this week. I started masking, and that's about all I got done after I started keep pulling and doing things. And I did a little work on the German infantry, but I was frustrated and I made mistakes, and but I figured the workout for it, how to get it back to where I want to see it, and I share that in the video. And then yes, I share me messing up this week. And the reason I'm doing that is I want you guys to understand, hey, don't kick yourself in the foot. Something happens, step back, breathe, and go back to it. And if you're really frustrated with something, hey, there's a lot of great communities out there. But hey, you can ask me the question in the comment, and I'll see if I dealt with that before or not. But hey, letting you guys see that, hey, us builders who do videos, we still have those crap moments. And why didn't I think of that when I should have done that? And yeah, the light bulb went on. So that's this week. It was fun, but it was a little bit frustrating. So with that, guys, if you are new to my channel, please click on the subscribe button, click on the little bell. You'll be notified every time I upload. And as always, thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to my new subscribers. I really appreciate it. And I hope you stay around as I keep going through this. But like I was saying earlier, if you guys, if you got a question on how I did something, why I did it this way, or any of that, or hey, Buck, can you do a video just on doing how you do that? Put in the comment section. Also put in the comment section, hey Buck, good job. Hey Buck, yeah, maybe okay. Or hey Buck, what the frack were you thinking, man? Put in the comment section. I usually answer within 12 to 24 hours. So with that, guys, let's go to the bench and see my frustrating week. Well, good morning, Tuesday, and was doing a little work yesterday. I got a chance to come down yesterday, and I started doing the Aztec decals from Aztec Dummy, and I've worked with him a lot. I love his product. It just he designed them very well, but again, because this saucer does not have the panel lines that you're used to, it's been a little bit more of a challenge. But hey, I like challenges. And the other note is, if you do build this kit up here on the top of the saucer, they had polar lights put little marks on there so you knew where each what line was. And well, trying to get the saucer to seat, I inadvertently sanded them all away. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to do the best I can on camera. I would have this on my other pod, but the hole that I can screw into is a little strip, so I have to get things figured out there. So alright, first things first, I'm going to show you one section. These come in full sheets, and Let me see if I can show you real quick. Not that one. How about... There you are. Come here, bottom. Okay, so this is a bottom, and he does label these bottom and top, T and B. Trust me. So they come in wedges like this, and you should definitely cut them into these triangles or whatever, and be able to a little bit easier to work with. Trust me on that one. And so all I'm doing is taking off the excess vinyl. And when he does one of these wedges, he has it set to where he can do 2 panels, 2 lines. So one of these do both of these right here. 1 and 2. So this is positive and this is the negative. And as you can see, the best way to put it, and he even shows it here, is these guys. And he shows you how to, one and then one deck, next deck. So yeah, okay. Definitely have a good X-Acto blade ready to go, and I will also tell you, have some tweezers ready. And once I get done showing you guys this, I got to move over to my other table, because this bench table has a lot of things on it, and dang, makes it hard to work with sometimes. So, and then I just use my tweezers to help separate the vinyl, because even with him having it cut, sometimes it does not want to cut the best. So, since I'm starting on this one, this is the negative, and I'm going to line. I want to line these 2 guys up, so, and then just gingerly put it down right there. Okay, so now that I have these 2 parts, another thing I've learned while doing these is I am going to do one of these, one of the negatives, and that lines up right on this corner. Sorry guys, I gotta see here real quick. It lines right up on this corner and go down. But when you're doing that, sometimes you're gonna have to look to see if it's straight or if it's crooked. And let me zoom out just a bit. Oh, that's not zoom out. Let's zoom out so maybe you can see here. Now, come here. Okay, so it's a little crooked. That's okay. It's easy to fix. You can take these guys up all the time, for a few, and then I'll tap that corner down, and then I want to get looking at it, and then just make sure it's up and right. Okay, so I still know I need to do this side, but to be able to finish these negatives, or positives, whatever way he does it, I just know putting the positive up here and get that down and off again. Darn thing, I tell you. And if you need to, you can tack them in your finger just a bit, take off some of that tackiness, and then what I'm going to do is I'm lining it up, because in the instructions you'll see if you buy this kit, he has these guys, usually you got a panel line in the way, to do that with, but this one there is no panel lines. So then I will just use my tweezers just to get it in this spot, and there we go. So then I can come over here and get this guy up, and then I can line it up here with the other one I did. And let's see, again, try to, once you get it down and you're happy with that, take a look back at it. If you need to bring it down, do so you can get it straight, and there we go. And here is this one. And the great thing about his cuts is you can look and see. So like these centerpieces should follow this right down. And these guys should, again, I'm just doing that, right? Again, I'm just lining these up the best I can, slightly. Then I can turn it around and take a look, see how I like it, and go from there. Now, if you ever have questions, if you're not in the right spot, so this negative lines with this positive right here. So if you have these guys lined up, these two parts, you're good to go. But again, the one thing I don't want to do just yet is get the other side on, because I want to get the other positive up. And there we go. And like I said, normally I don't do it because usually you can work with these so well, and you know, you got the panel lines playing nice, you know, because you got panel lines to use, and this being a smooth saucer, I did get the paragraphics etched to be able to do panel lines, and I thought more I was going to draw pencil lines, and then I kind of got to the point, it's like, well, if I draw it on the paint that I did, and then I put these guys over, and then I paint, am I going to be able to get rid of those pencil lines? And 10 to 1, yeah, but sometimes I just, you know, and there we go. Maybe. Okay. We're going to move you. Let's see. Okay, then we'll get the last one here, because putting this top piece on helps line these up. I couldn't tell you how many times I have missed the mark on that, and sometimes, sorry guys, it also depends on where you hold your tweezers at to be able to get comfortable with them, to hold these guys. And if you got a little overlap, that's okay, because there is no panel lines in this on this kit. That's okay. But if you go way over here, yeah, that can gotta get a little bit there, and just did not like how that looked right there. Push you, and there we go. Sorry if it wasn't in camera, but there we go. So I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll get working on the camera so I can show you a good video, or a better video, be putting these on instead of right here. But also, if you ever question how he does it or what he's looking at when he's laying these down, he goes into great detail video on just doing his Aztec masking. So check that out at Aztec Dummy Productions on YouTube. But check him out. I mean, when I got back into this, he was one that I followed. I still follow, but got me bringing up my game, to say. I love that about his channel. It helped me get a lot of things and learn a lot more than what I knew when I was first started did this as a teenager and a kid. But alas, alright guys, well, I'm going to keep doing this. And when I come to spots where I definitely know I need to show you something, I will turn the camera back on. But this could take a while, and you don't want to sit through all that watching me do that. So I will see you guys when I have more done. Good morning, Wednesday, and back to the saucer. After I get the masking done for the saucer and the neck, I'm going to start getting the German infantry troops mortar and machine gun teams put together and get started on that, but I wanted to finish the masking. And with this being a smooth hull, and I wasn't going to scribe in panel lines, any of that, it's been a little more studying and trying to make sure I'm getting things in the right spot. What I mean by that is because there's no panel lines to give you each section, it gets a little hard to place sometimes. But I started doing this this morning before I turned the camera on, and this is something I should have done at the beginning, because what these masks do is doing that checkerboard pattern again on the outside, on the middle of the saucer, and what it does, it helps you. You're gonna be able to find a better reference point. And so I'm gonna show you how I do these real quick, and then I'll get those finished, and then I'll start on the main Aztec masking here. But so on each of the wedges, he gives a set of these squares, and the outsides, these ones are small, the middle are big, but it really doesn't matter, because it'll help break up the shape however you decide to do it. But the one thing I do, well, let me start at the beginning here real quick. So what I did is I was trying to figure out how the bottom Aztec patterns go together, and I really studied the heck out of his picture details to try to find their placements. But again, like I said, you can see there's panel lines in this, so that helps. But I was more looking at this one because you can see the painting and the Aztec detail. But what I did is I started here on the impulse area, and I just started putting these guys on in the checkerboard pattern, and I wanted them to lay where the underneath starts to curve. And that's what I did. And then, like I said, I'm just doing the checkerboard pattern. And one thing I try to do is I try to keep them, and I am left-handed, so if I turn this, I'm sorry, but as you can see, I'm just almost. I'm trying to line corner to corner, and like I said, I'm a lefty, so, and then there. And once you get that done, you'll be able to lay it across that curve, and you'll see if you're doing it right, it's going to keep going and follow that line. That line is going to stay all the way around, and to do it the same for the top. So just do one more here, and then I'm going to get them all finished placed on, and I'll come back and I'll change the camera and get the other ones start put on. But as you can see, I'm just doing a checkerboard pattern, and like I said, this is going to help with getting these guys into place. And I should have done, like I said, this middle before I even did the top, because I got some more to do on the top, because I had to keep moving. I have to get in here and finish those, but I wanted to get this done first, and because I had to move some of the masks around on top, I have to dig and see where I put. He sends quite a few, but with me playing around with it, I switched some, and it's either here or there. But I'm gonna get this finished, and then when I come back, we'll get started on top. All right, got some lunch and getting back to work, and as you can see, I've already started. So I'm only gonna do one wedge, and then I'll. So you guys, if you want to watch, go ahead. If not, fast forward. But yeah, so again, I've already cut them out separate, and when you do this, be easy, because like I said, sometimes the what he cuts with doesn't always go all the way through. So there's some different ways of doing this. Now, if I had the panels, it'd be, the panel lines and all that. It'd be really quick, really simple, and yeah. But since I don't, I'm going to go all the way into the pattern that I've started. That way I'm not trying to, it's what happened on the top of the saucers. I was trying to work from a point and just go one way and then go from the other way, but without panel lines and guidelines, it's a little tricky. So, excuse me. So I've gone to, I started with the positive, negative, positive, negative. So just nothing to do but do it. So when you pull these off, guys, you want to be gentle again. because you got two two parts to this one. You know, you got positive and negative, so you can do two panels, as Lou says and does on quite a few. Um, but yeah, you just want to be nice and easy. And I usually kind of just run my tweezers to help me get it broke apart, and then, especially with the bottom, I'm finding out it's kind of hard to keep square. What I mean by square is make sure you're staying, you're not going wonky like this. And I know it sounds like, well, how can that be, and it does sometimes, and I had those at the wrong part. But basically just start lining it up. And I've learned, especially with this, I try to do the one end, just get it tacked down. That way, one, as I start to go, that I can, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a split, so try this again. And that's the great thing also about his mask is you can pick them up and readjust them if you have to. And okay, so there's that one. And then one of the big things I do, especially with not having discerned guideline, I even went and looked for the stuff I bought from Paragraphics, and I put it somewhere and I just can't remember, but neither here nor there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this part of the negative. I'm going to get it lined up and make sure it's straight, right? And definitely don't be afraid to move your kit around as you go to do this. And then what I do is I take one of these, the blocks, you'll see them, and I go ahead and line it up. And again, I make sure that I'm happy with that placement. And then I'll go and get the next positive. Because with this, you got to work back and forth. So positive, negative, negative, positive, that way. So I'm going to grab the next positive and play the game of, come on, don't pick everything up, right? And okay. So there we go. And again, I'll get it tacked on, or get it my tweezers. Then I just kind of gingerly I watch, I'll lift up, make sure everything looks right. If it doesn't, I will adjust. And sometimes when you go to adjust, even if you just tack, you just, oh, okay, you might pull it up. So then I'll look, okay, happy with that. And yeah, so, and now I will finish doing the negatives to this. And the great thing about this is you always have your reference point. So the single ones here, middle, and end, as you can see. And then do that again. Again, just making sure everything's lined up. Okay, and then I'll take the last piece. Now you might have to adjust this one when you get the other positive back onto the next side. But I just try to line up, make sure, and again, like I said, you might have to adjust it, but that's okay. So again, now I'll start with the next negative, because like I said, positive, negative. So this one's pretty simple. Again, you just line up to that where it came out, this part, but this is the opposite. So this is this side, this is this side, and just go that way. And then again, just take one of these guys up, and again, I come here. I use this outside corner right here, this little corner right here to line up on, and make sure that's square and straight, and there we go. Then again, I just get the next, the next positive, because I'm using it as my outline to make sure that I get these guys all lined up right. And the great thing about this is, it goes down solid against, and just like that. So now just do what I do. So okay, there's that one. And then I can put the last one in to complete this one. And sometimes you're like, well, some of the gaps don't line up all right. Well, that's okay, because sometimes they don't. This again is just to get the initial Aztec pattern down. This is not the complete finish of it, as you've seen before, guys, or have not yet. But you saw what I did on the nacelles. I did the mask, and then I went and added the detail. So again, just line up, make sure straight, and go from there. And again, just like this. Alright, so the next few bits is going to be all going here. When I start getting up into this part, I'll turn the camera back on. I don't think you want to sit here and just watch me do this. So give me a few minutes to get this up to this point, and I'll come back and I will share with you. Alright, up to the little parts. So there's a little bit of, as you can see, these guys are getting small and smaller. So kind of a thing that I do with them, and I'll show that real quick. Let me get some of these out of the way. Yeah. Come on now. Okay. Now, again, I'm just trying to make sure that it is level and where it needs to be. And again, like I said, I used these tweezers. They really are great. Really do love them. But when you start getting, when they start, make sure I get it in camera. When they start getting smaller like this, sometimes it's easier just to, instead of trying to peel it all apart there, start doing it, pick the whole thing up, and then what I do, I just, like I said, I take my tweezers and I'll just put it back on the sheet in roughly the same area. And I know you probably can't really see well, and I'm sorry, us lefties, I tell you, but let's go there. And then I'll just keep taking the the negative pieces out, and trying to line them up the way they are on the whole piece there. That way I have track of them. But the smaller these get, sometimes they can get a little bit of fun. So, and I will just take that. And sometimes, even when you're getting ready to put them on, you can see sometimes, oh, it's not lining up right. So if you need to, just do that real quick. And then, don't worry about that. And then I just make sure I'm happy with that, and I'll make sure to push it down, and then we'll go finish them. Okay. And sometimes at this point, this is where I'll get my X-Acto knife, because the pieces are getting smaller to work with, and sometimes using the tweezers to a point, it does not help. And sometimes I get really nitpicky on how well they sit, how well they do, and sometimes I don't need to be that nitpicky, but that's me anyway. Okay, so get the last part here. And again, like I said, okay, and there we go. And again we go. And this goes here. We'll get this little guy. Okay. Cool. And then again, like I said, this thing is, these get so big, you know, so small that I just pick the whole thing up and then I just start taking the pieces off and getting them back onto the paper, hopefully. And darn phone, I tell you. Again, I try to make sure I keep them lined up in where they need to be, so I don't, because I've done that before. I take them off and then I go, okay, what did I, why, yeah. So, and again, I just come up and I look, looks good, and I'll come and do this. This, and get the last one here. Okay, now the fun part, these really small bits that go here, and yeah, sorry, sometimes you start looking going, okay, why is that not where it should be? And it actually was. So let's see if I can keep most of this on camera for you. And again, I'll do the same thing, even though I'm not putting another part on top. I try to follow the same pattern that I've done on the rest of them. Yeah. And yeah, sometimes I'll just kind of nitpick and just go, okay, I can do better. Like I said, sometimes that's my issue, is I try to nitpick and get it just at the right spot, and yeah, sometimes that does not work well for me. So because when I do that, then I end up taking way more time than it should. Okay guys, so that's how to do that. And yeah, I need to fix these up a little bit, but that's how this goes. So I'm going to keep at it, and I'll come back when it's finished. Well, good afternoon, and yes, I've been working in the studio this morning, but I've been fixing with the Aztec masks. And for the life of me, as I was working on this side, I couldn't figure out what was going on, because I looked at the pictures, everything looked like it was there, you know, and that's following exactly what I thought. And then I got to really studying them, and the thing is, after I studied them a little more, I came across a comment that it should have clued me as many times as I have read Lou's instructions. And basically it goes, he says, thank goodness for the grid lines. Yes, I'm in the pro grid line camp now. And I was like, okay. So what that meant was, even though I'm leaving the saucer smooth, I was getting off because I didn't have the spacing needed. The grid lines, basically, is what I'm doing here. So I have masks from HDX Model Work I've been using a lot of, and this is these guys, the blue ones. When I did the refit, I got a couple of those, and they're really they're awesome, especially for as thin as I need the panel lines to be, or to simulate the panel lines. So that's what I've been doing, guys. And I got I got this all fixed. Still got a little bit of here and there to do, but the big question was, I was like, okay, why is this not working? And I forgot that to put that little bit of space. It's the grid line, and you would not believe how much that changed everything. Everything started going where it should have been. And I'm going, okay. So that's what I've been working on, redoing these. And yes, that does mean I'm going to be redoing the top two. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, guys, is just getting these guys worked back out. And yeah, the fun that is that, because yeah, I can't believe that was a frustrating thing. Is even I left the saucer completely smooth, and didn't do any of the scraping to reach those panel lines. I forgot to do it when I was on the mast to make sure it was there. So that's what I'm doing right now, guys, is finishing this, getting this fixed, and starting to finish it. So I'm going to get back at it. I'll be back when I have more to share. Well, good morning, Friday, and as you can see, I didn't get much further. Had to go get the my yard and my neighbor's yard mowed before more rain came, and so had to get those done yesterday. And spent some time talking to my son. He went to the Devil's Lake College that he's going to go to. He got his registration all done and all that in Devil's Lake, so we spent a little time talking about that. But yes, back in here this morning, and just want to show, because I'm not done with this yet, but I thought since I got the stuff for the Tiger Tank diorama, I should get back to work on that. I do want to get back to work on that. Sometimes I get so absorbed, and yeah, not saying I'm not going to be working on the Enterprise today, but yeah, let's go look at those soldiers and those German troops, and let's get going on them. Okay, so gonna get started on getting these guys worked up and ready to go. One of the first things I always kind of do is I try to start separating the equipment, because, well, it's easier to get them done this way sometimes than it is trying to have everything all together. And so yeah, that's the first thing I usually do, is get rid of the equipment, and get them all cleaned up. So all I have to do is worry about the figures. Yeah, okay, there we go. I can do that. Okay, I will get the rest of the equipment separated after I start getting some things done here. So one of the first things I have learned from the many mistakes are not mistakes, but oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? Because cleaning parts, especially small ones, you need to try to keep them as organized or grouped as you can. And what I mean by that is, I may do the torso and the legs, get those glued together, but I don't want to do the arms until everything's ready to go, and so I know which position they are in. So one of the first things I do usually is I will go and I will get a small baggie and just mark it with the part that I'm using, because to me it does really good. It goes through V, then this is U, this is S, this is T, and then over here we have the other ones. So yeah, and first one right now, all I'm kind of doing is I'm just going to get these guys off, and I will do one at a time, because that way I'm not got all these parts just laying around of all the different figures, trying to figure out why did I do that. So alright, and okay, and I'm not going to make you watch me do all of them, but I just wanted to share what I'm going to start by doing. And what I start by doing is, if you've ever tried to do these kits, you'll notice, let's see if I can keep it in focus for you. There we go, maybe. You see that seam line, and that's the mold line. We need to get rid of those, because if you go to start painting and everything and it comes up with that, going, oh, what the heck, why? It'd be different if there was actually a stripe going down the leg, but there's not. They're not in Han Solo gear. So, but I will definitely get all the little iffy pieces off. And first thing I do, actually I did put that one on there, is I'll go in and start cleaning up that flash from those sprues, because sometimes it can get a little crazy on that. Just want to make sure everything's good. And then if you haven't, guys, yet, you can go to Hobby Lobby and pick up these sanding sticks. About pretty reasonable. They do help, especially with these little guys. So like I said, you see that seam, you want to get rid of that. You want to make it not as, you don't want it to be noticed. So I always go through and I start using this, sanding it down. Because as much fun as they can be, like I said, they just don't fit everything. And again, that's why I primed it, so I could actually get a better eye on them. And definitely on the insides and around the feet. So, and it's always kind of fun, right? So then I'll switch over to the other side and I'll do that. I want to get a lot of this done before I put the torso on, because I just want to make sure it's good to go. Because sometimes when you put a torso on or anything, sometimes these get a little harder, and I know it's weird because it's an open stance, but all I'm doing is cleaning off the flash, as you can see. And yes, this is going to be winter, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that so I can get some winter coat apparel done, because these are they're close, but not all the way yet for winter. They're very close, but I can tweak things to make it fit. And this is on the machine gun crew, so I'm going to build all the machine gun, and then I'm going to figure out which one I want to do. But when you go to put these guys together, like I said, I always kind of test fit, because to me it did really good. Usually you can tell where you need to go because they line everything up, but the best way is always the seam line or the middle of the uniform down to the, the right here where the coat opens in the back. And yeah, now trust me, there is going to be some putty work. Trust me on that, because as good as to me it is, sometimes they just their molds, they print a lot of these, make a lot of these, so you got to make sure that they're, sometimes, depends on what batch you get. And again, just kind of taking off some of the flash, and I have another special one for that. But now I also want to bring up to look at the front, and usually you can see pretty well how they're going to match up. And I know some people use the thin cement. I use the CA especially on these figures, because sometimes it takes a little while for the Tamiya cement to come around. And just like that, I just kind of spread it around with the tip, and then I will put them together. Put a little pressure, get that glue to start setting up. As you can see, sometimes it takes a bit, and I get too ambitious, but I don't want to add so much glue, because I've done that before, and oh man, that gets crazy. It's starting to get there somewhat. Might have to add a little more because I pulled it apart, but we'll see. We'll see. And then my eye just keep going, okay, why is it not sitting? Okay. Yep, gonna have to add a bit more. darn things, tell you. Because the outside, on the edge of it, it wasn't sitting up. I didn't put the glue all the way out there. I tried to just do the inside and put pressure on. But yeah, sometimes, yeah, you got to hold these guys just a little longer than what you think, especially with CA. But yeah, CA is quick, but CA is not instantaneous unless you put the accelerator on it, and I'm not going to do that yet. Don't want to do that because, yeah, this stuff stinks sometimes. It does. Alright. Okay. Now I'm just double checking and making sure everything is set up and lined up. And yes, I have to hold a little bit more. Crazy, right? Dun dun dun. Okay, and now he's set up. Like I said, there's going to be definitely some putty work I need to do, but to get these guys to line up like they should, sometimes there's going to be that gap, as you can see. So that's the start of what I start working on. I'll finish up the flash on this, and I'll finish getting the flash on the rest of these guys, and then we'll get into getting them started painting. So I will be back. Okay, well, got the figures put together. I got the machine gun crew all in this one labeled, and so I can remember who's who when I go put their arms and heads on if they need it. And then I've got the mortar crew and them in separate baggies. Check this out. This is the mortar. Very, very, very cool. Like that. Cannot wait to get some color and some love on that guy. But I got equipment, and the good thing is there's a lot of equipment I'm not going to have to paint again. The gas canisters, the canteens, some of the packs, the weapons. Yeah. The one thing about Tamiya, you will have equipment. No issue with equipment. And then, yes, here's the only thing I haven't added onto the mortar tube yet is the sight and that, and because I don't, my issue, you know, I put these little guys on and I think they're good, and then I go do something and, you know, it comes off. So, but then the canister, the crates, and then the mortars. So yay. So happy that that is now ready to go. I'm going to let them finish drying and then get started on some lovely paint with them. But for now, now I'm going to get back to the Enterprise and get this masking finished. Alright, well, remember me talking about that compass you can get from Paragraphics to help do the lines, so you can, you know, either you can etch them in or not. Yeah, I finally found it, and I'm going to give her a good try, because even the more I do this, I'm pretty good getting eye level, but it's just still not there yet. And what I mean by that is it keeps changing on me. Even though I'm pretty good with the measurements, it's just not doing it for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the mask, put them carefully onto a piece of plastic, and yeah, and then go start doing this, because my biggest worry was doing the pencil lines, and now I'm just going to have to try to work around it, and I can take care of those. I mean, this is painted and coated, clear coated, so yeah, I'm going to give that a shot. But first I got to get these guys off. So yay, the fun of doing it again. And so I'm not particularly upset about it. It just, you know, I was hoping to have more to show so far, but it's a good thing. I'm learning, and I'm hopefully, if you guys do go and do the Aztec decking by Aztec Dummy for the TOS Constitution, hopefully this will help. So yay, learning something new every day, building models. Gotta love it. So let me get these guys off, and then I'll come back and I'll start showing you how these guys are going to work. So yes, removing the masks is a slow process, because you got to be very careful so you don't tear them. and scratch the paint if you do. But here, I was going to show you how I do it. I get my X-Acto knife, good blade, and like I said, I kind of tip under there. Then I'll come back with my tweezers and just slightly start picking it up, trying to find, so I can do that. And it helps minimize any damage than trying to just use the X-Acto, because I can tell you what, I probably scratched the crap out of some paint jobs thinking I was like, oh, okay, this is going well, and then I get stuff, yeah. Just what I'm saying is be careful, Okay, well, got those off, and just trying to give you an overall, see if you can see this thing. So, this is photo etches or paragraphics compass to help get in the lines, and it's not bad so far. I mean, and then as you can see, I'm just going to each one of those lines because that's where the panel lines are. And now let's see if I can zoom out. You see I've already started to get some in there. But yeah, so not bad. Now here's the test. Okay, let's see. I haven't got the radio ones done. But because I've been messing with these guys, I know that these, if it's right, then because these are the top ones, guys, and I'm just putting them in here right now just to double check. So yeah, not bad. Yeah, and okay, that is a lot better than what I was trying to do. So yes, the pencil's kind of giving me a bit of a thing, but I know once I get this taken care of, that I can start erasing most of the lines, and then I'll take care of them after I get going more on it. But let me show you as the best I can. So with this, doing the lines down, I wanted to get these done first. And another thing I will tell you about taking care of this thing is even there's nothing that actually comes with it to put on here. I just put a piece of styrene and fitted it in there. So I make sure that it stays down, and then I just kind of have my fingers right now on, and then I'm just lightly making the line, and then I'll come back in here and I'll pick up these guys and just using my regular, and then like I said, you see that I gotta figure that out, because that is, I gotta figure how to keep that in there, because trying to play with this thing every time it pops out like that, I'm having to double check where it is and then go, okay, what the heck is going on here? Okay, sorry guys, just trying to get this back where it was, and then doing that, because if it does come out on you and it starts changing, I found working with it like this is get your the bar line lined up right, and then you can push that over and everything lines up. So I got to get a better system on getting that staying down, and I'll figure that out. But I'll do one more and then I'll keep going. And that was you. This now is you. And yes, you need to make sure you anneal the bar before you even start doing this, because if you don't, it's not going to play nice with you, because it'll keep recoiling, and by that I mean you need to give it a nice bit of heat so it gets a little bendy, so it's easier to conform to the hull than than it would be. And by anneal, I mean you get that thing hot and let it do its nice fiery thing. And oh, one more. And yes, before you guys even ask, yes, I'm gonna have to do it on the. I'm gonna have to take the ones off the top and do that one again too. And yeah, not looking forward to that, but oh well, it is what it is. Seriously. Okay, come on now. Dang it. Darn thing. Okay, they're all where they're supposed to be. And you are that one right there, I think. Kind of just fooling around, guys, getting it going. So give me just a second. Okay, now we're back on. Now we're back onto it. Okay. Like I said, you see that kind of thing just kind of, it does kind of get a little bit of a mind of its own. I mean, it does stay in there, but can't really get a whole lot of tape up there and masking on it, because if I do that, then, ooh, that doesn't look nice. Looks a little bit bendy. Okay, oh, that's probably why. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm just double checking again because it moved. And just making sure everything's lining back up. Okay, there we go. Then we'll just slide to there. And, alright, last one I promised, and I'll turn the camera off, guys. And just do a nice little light line. Alright, see, as you can see, the panel lines over here coming down. So yeah, I should have done this first. I really should have, but I didn't, and that's my mistake. So, but yeah, alright, well, I'm going to get going on this some more, and see where I'm going to end it for the day, because just getting about that time. So give me, let me get back at it, and I'll come back when it's time to sign off. Alright, well, got them done. Definitely not bad. I mean, it's going to, yeah. So got this side done. So the fun part now is going to go and just see how everything goes back together. But yeah, I should have started with this thing to begin with. I just brain fart, I guess. But this is where I'm going to end it for tonight, because I have my granddaughter Melody's here and she's ready for some papa time. So with that, guys, happy Father's Day to all you fathers. Have a fun and relaxing Father's Day. And with that, guys, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And I will see you back here on the bench.